What's happening, everybody? So my thoughts on the Corvette C8 and the Corvette C8 Z06, which as of October 1st of 2021 has been getting a little bit of pub for its trip around the Nürburgring ring. My thoughts on that maybe later, but the short of it is this: not a fan. See, the problem with Corvette in general is that Corvette used to be and traditionally was the working man's hero. It was a car that any guy or girl that was into automobiles, especially sports cars, if they wanted something cool like a Corvette, they could afford it. And this is on an average salary. Yeah, you might have to pick up a couple of extra shifts, or you might have to take on a new account or what have you. But the fact of the matter is that somebody earning an average salary could buy a Corvette and enjoy a little bit of that slice of Americana. Well, it's nowhere near like that anymore. In fact, very far from it. Let me give you guys some examples, or at least an example of this without wearing you out. Chose a year at random, 1979. In 1979, Corvettes cost about $10,200. Call it $10,500 just for the sake of argument. The average salary in 1979 checked in at right at $16,500. Basically, the math works out like this. In 1979, a Corvette in today's money would cost about $38,000. But if you adjust for the buying power of the American dollar, which has gone down, then you're looking at roughly $34,349 for a Corvette. $16,530 translates into roughly $62,000 today. So, split it down the middle, 62 grand, $36,000. Notice how $36,000 is significantly less than $62,000. You could make it work, and the idea was that if you worked hard enough, you too could have a Corvette. Fast forward to 2020. Let's run through the math again. Average salary today, $56,310 as of 2020. I get it, we're into 21. You get the idea though. Average selling price in Q2 of 2020 for a C8 Corvette, $82,000. Notice that there's kind of a bit of a juxtaposition there. Average salary, $56,000. Average cost of a C8 Corvette, $82,000. This is just for the regular Corvette. So you mean to tell me that not only is it more than the average salary, it's more than the average salary by basically 50% almost. That is shocking, especially when you consider the fact that the cost of the Vette from 1979 at $34,000, that's not even, you add 50% to that, you still haven't gotten to that adjusted $62,000 figure. And I get it. The cars are so much more sophisticated, so much more technology and all that kind of good stuff. It doesn't matter when per capita you can't afford the thing. And if you can't afford it, well, then it loses a lot of its panache. It loses some of that Americana that it used to have. And if you think I'm talking about this from the position of a bit of a vacuum or from a Mopar guy's point of view, keep in mind that I am a two-time recovering Corvette owner, and I owned a 40th anniversary C4 and a C5 Z06. You would think that I would be ripe for the picking for GM to either get a Corvette C8 or a Corvette C8 Z06. So let's talk about that Z06 a little bit. A lot of speculation is floating around about what that car is going to be, and let's just say, for lack of a better way of putting it, I'm over the C8 right now. So I'll just more or less be talking about the Z06 moving forward. The Z06 is going to check in at a price point that is getting a little bit stratospheric, if you know what I mean. Let's look at it like this. since we know that the average selling cost of the C8 was $82,000, if you look at the C7 Stingray was about 55 grand. Z06s started at about $80,000. And you can say, okay, well, that's roughly 50% more than that $55,000. Puts you right at about 80 grand or so. So you figure with the way that the C8 goes, average selling price at 82, you're probably looking at adding 50% to that. You're looking at $112,000 or $113,000. $113,000 is more than double what the average salary is in the United States in 2020. That is a ton of money to ask for a Corvette. You might say, yeah, but it's the top of the line and it does all of this. Yeah, maybe. But it's really possibly nowhere near as good as the car that it's replacing. C7 Z06, if you want to talk about Nuremberg times, went around the thing in just a few ticks over 7 minutes. The ZR1 basically did it in, well, just a couple of ticks over 7 minutes. And I think the C8, I know there was some controversy behind this, but the time looked like it was going to end up being around 7 minutes and 20-something seconds. The point is, it's at least maybe as good as the outgoing car at $112,000. I find it difficult to be able to explain what kind of shark-infested waters that $112,000 puts that car in. But suffice it to say that you're basically now playing in the backyard of the ultimate troll, the Tesla Model S Plaid. Yeah, put the Vette up against the Tesla Model S Plaid and it gets gapped, like badly. And I'm going to beat you to this. I don't want to hear about handling. Oh, the Z06 handles so much, but stop. See, here's the thing. Notice I was mentioning Nuremberg numbers. People just get worked up over Nuremberg numbers. I've never really understood that. I always honestly thought that a Pikes Peak run would be a lot more telling about what a car can manage in terms of dealing with altitude and hairpin turns and confidence and driver confidence, because, oh yeah, the other part of getting a car around a racetrack is having a driver, a competent driver, manning the helm of the thing. See, what people tend to forget is that cars are not autonomous. People will talk about, well, this car beat that car at the Nuremberg ring. No, it didn't. The driver in that car ran a faster time than potentially another driver with another set of skills, with another set of understanding of the course that they're on, ran in another platform. Too many variables. They're all fast. I love this. Well, the Z06 ran it in, and just like it cracks me up because no, the car is, this isn't the movie Cars, okay? The cars are not alive. They are not driving themselves around the Nuremberg circuit yet. So the car didn't do it. It's a seasoned driver that's very familiar with the course and the vehicle, given an unlimited amount of laps to make this happen. This cracks me up. I know a little bit of a sidebar, but you get where I'm going with that. Look, the C8 Z06 lost me as a buyer. The dual clutch transmission, it kind of fits the personality of the car, but the problem with the car is that, well, number one, it doesn't come with a true 6 or 7 speed manual. I can live with the dual clutch for straight line stuff because I get it. It's not really a drag race platform, but the way that I see it, if it's got launch control, somebody's gonna take it to a drag strip, and plenty of people have taken that car to a drag strip with, shall we say, underwhelming results. Certainly left uninspired every time I've seen one go down the track. But that's really beside the point. The other issue that I have with the C8 is the C8 reminds me of if you were to give a kid a pad and a pen and say, draw a sports car, it would kind of look like the C8 Corvette. in that it would be pointy, it would be kind of mid-engine-y looking, and it would also have a pretty basic front end and rear end to it. To me, the C8 looks like the designers were designing the car from the middle of the car out and then just said screw it and went and got drinks when they needed to design the nose and the tail of the car. If you ever notice, that car looks fantastic right up until you get to the nose of it, and then it looks like somebody just like super glued a Corvette nose to it and super glued a Corvette tail to the back of it. It almost looks like a model kit that was finished using two different kits, one from a C7 and one from, I don't know, like a Lamborghini or something like that. Pick something flashy that's got a mid-engine, it doesn't matter. Look, C8 may be your cup of tea. I'm trying still to warm up to it. Two-time Corvette owner. I love Corvettes, absolutely have been in love with them since I was a kid. Grew up in Corvettes, as a matter of fact. But here's the thing. For me to ever get on board with the new Corvettes, there would have to be a dramatic shift, not only in pricing, but in mission statement of that car. I would have to see a real manual transmission. I would have to have some type of reason to try to move into that type of a platform. The only problem is now we get into pricing. No matter what they did to the car, as I'm rattling off all of these things, well, if the Vette had that and if the Vette had this, it doesn't matter. If my aunt had a package, she'd be my uncle. The fact of the matter is the car is astronomically expensive. So taking all of that outside of the vacuum and putting it out into the real world with modern day prices, the Corvette just isn't that modern day every man's hero type of car. It's a rich man's toy at this point. And I'm just not there. Maybe not yet anyway. But that's a wrap on this one. Y'all have a great one. Adios.